Today is the day football fans across the world look forward to every year, the first Sunday of NFL football in the 2020-21 season. But again, we can't forget about the NHL, NBA, and MLB, all of which have had a pretty crazy week to say the least. We also saw the first exciting week of college football as well. Predictions and recaps all coming up next with your hosts, Andrew Hale and Jotham Israel. But first, a word from our amazing sponsor, Anchor. Week one is finally here. I don't know about you, Jotham, but I have all my Lions gear on. Are you bared up?
I'm 50-50. You know something? Although I proclaim to be a Bears fan, I've only worn a jersey once on game day.
Hmm, that's interesting. Usually I like to wear my jersey every Sunday, but I haven't in the past few weeks of football because it's kind of small.
Yeah, I mean, even though I say I'm a Bears fan, I'm more like football in general.
Football fan.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
okay.
football fan. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if the Lions beat the Bears. I'll probably be more happy if the Lions beat the Bears than the other way around. If that's where it comes to. So I'm telling you, man, I am just an overall football fan. I'm an overall sports fan. There are very rare scenarios where I'm legitimately rooting against somebody else. So I always find myself in a position where I'm having a lot of fun.
Okay, I can respect that. I mean, the Lions are favored by three, so I guess that should be a positive. Even though half of both of our teams are. If you've seen like the bottom line on like ESPN or Fox Sports, I was watching the Kansas and Coastal Carolina football game late last night, and on the bottom row they were showing all the injury updates in the bottom row and both I think the Bears and the Lions had the most potential like doubtful, questionable injuries out of any team. So, you
That's
know.
that's sad, man. You couldn't even make it to Ford Field without a clean injury report, man.
Yeah, dude. I was like of course this is Lions football.
Yeah, yeah, dude. But we have had a little prediction rivalry going with the NHL and the NBA playoffs. Why not stretch it to the NFL, man? Let's make some picks.
Dude, let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, dude. All right, we gonna call out the week one schedule. We both started 1-0. Chiefs beat the Texans. So yeah, we're off on the right foot, Drew.
Yeah, I mean, I there are a few tough games on the slate here today.
Yeah, dude. In particular, I don't know what to expect from Seahawks Falcons other than Russell Wilson getting a dub.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the exact same thing. I mean, we saw the Falcons' struggles last year. Like they were not good, and I mean, sure they made a few upgrades in the off season, getting Todd Gurley and stuff, but I don't know. I still see the Seahawks having another great season. I think Week 1 is going to be the start of that.
Yeah, and although the Falcons have had some upgrades, the big downgrade for me are those freaking uniforms, dude.
Yeah, that will be their downfall for the season.
Andrew, in this decade, usually when a team switches uniforms, look at Cleveland and Tampa Bay. When you switch uniforms and go worse, oftentimes you are trash in that era of uniforms.
I mean, I guess that makes some sense for Lions fans if they remember when they switched to the all black, they went 0-16. So you might be right there.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna torture you with that. Let's move on to Jets Bills. I got Bills, man. I don't see the Jets doing anything this year at all.
Dude, yeah, I really like the Bills team. I really do. I liked them last year, and I like them this year. As for the Jets, I really don't see anything in Adam Gase. I don't know why they hired him as a Jets coach. He has been really bad, and it's kind of surprising because they have Le'Veon Bell, and usually no matter what team, no matter what offensive line Le'Veon Bell has, he can succeed. And last year it was kind of hard to watch. So I got Bills.
Yeah, the Jets. I just don't see them doing anything. Not with that coach, not with that team. Maybe if Sam Darnold throws for like 6,000 yards and 60 touchdowns, like crazy man. But no, no, I don't see
Yeah.
anything. The game we were just talking about, Bears Lions. You know what? I'm actually going to go with the quote unquote upset here. I think the Bears should and will win this game.
Okay. I'm gonna be um as non-biased as possible. Dude, it's really tough because the Lions did really revamp their defense by getting like a lot of former Patriots players, and
Mhm.
they already got Flowers last year. This year they got a few more. They just revamped their entire defense, and with their injury report having a lot of outs and questionables, it's gonna be very difficult to see how both of these teams perform. Dude, I don't know. This is very difficult. I'm gonna say home field advantage with no fans. I'm gonna go with the Lions just because I feel like that offense is going to go off today, even potentially without Kenny Galladay.
Of course, that would be our first disagreement in picks.
I mean, it's only right.
I mean, it's only fitting. But yeah, dude. I'm not saying go Bears like I hate the Lions, but go Bears.
Go, go Lions, man.
Okay, I'm off that. Let's switch to the other NFC North matchup: Packers Vikings. Uh,
It's kind of tough. This is tough.
see the thing. My thing is this game is in Minnesota. Usually, I'm so used to seeing Packers Vikings meet first in Lambeau and then go to Minnesota, but it's starting in Minnesota. Oh, well, Dalvin Cook just got an extension, so I guess that's a good
Yeah.
sign. Um, you know what? I know the Packers went 13-3 and were one step away from the Super Bowl, but I ah, look, I just think the Vikings without Stephon Diggs, I think they can still, be a good team, but not better than the Packers. I think I'm gonna go with the Packers in this one.
Ooh, I like that switch up at the end. You made me think that you're gonna pick the Vikings. Yeah, this is again pretty difficult. I like Minnesota, but again, I don't know about you, but I feel like they're almost like up and down, inconsistent sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes you think they're going to be really good, and then they don't perform well, but then they can perform as like one of the best teams in the league. I don't know. This is going to be very difficult. We didn't really see Green Bay change much of their team in the offseason, so they basically are coming back with the same squad they had last year. Dude, I'm probably gonna have to go Packers as well.
yeah. It's just even though the Vikings are at home now, if they have fans,
Yeah,
okay, different story. I might have picked the Vikings if they have fans, but it really doesn't matter at this point. It's there's like the Vikings have one of the most crucial home field advantages in the league. With those
yeah,
fans, it's going to be so much tougher for them to win games in particular. You can say the same about the Chiefs and the Seahawks, but the Chiefs and the Seahawks are consistent teams. The Vikings are not. So I would hope I'm wrong, but I got the
yeah.
Packers
Me
in
too.
this one.
Yeah, me too. I like you said, I still see the Vikings being pretty successful without Stephon Diggs, but that Packers squad, it's basically the same as last year. Yeah,
Yeah, just a little bit too much. But Dolphins Patriots. Okay, Miami is starting the season the same way they finished off last year. Not saying that they will win this game because they won't. I got the Patriots, but it's still going to be very interesting to see how this game goes because the Dolphins knocked the Patriots into the wild card round, and you know what Tennessee did 6 days after that.
yeah. I really don't see much happening this game other than a Patriots win because actually, I shouldn't really be that confident with the Patriots because you know who the Dolphins have starting for them?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Fitz Magic.
It's
He
magic.
can do anything on week one. We've seen in the past 2 years, he has gone off in like the beginning weeks, and then once like week four rolls around, he turns around and becomes his normal self. But who knows? Maybe he'll have another one of those crazy Fitz Magic moments. Um, I am excited to see Cam Newton back on the field as a starting quarterback.
Yes.
So that should be really exciting. I'm probably going to pick the Patriots. I think Cam Newton obviously is a better quarterback than Ryan Fitzpatrick, but hey, I wouldn't be surprised of a Miami potential upset, but I still got New England in this one.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting year in the AFC East, to say the least. Ooh, rhyme. Okay, next matchup: the Eagles versus. Okay, this is the first time I'm saying this formally. The Washington Football Team.
Okay, so I don't feel like the football team has. That's weird. That is weird. Like when I if you go to ESPN and you scroll down, it says Eagles football team preview. That's so bad. Yeah, I mean I like Philly. I feel like Philly does have a better team than the football team. Um, or should I say Philly has a better football team than the football team. Um, uh, but hey, I like Philly's defense. I like Darius Slay. Um,
Oh
I
yeah.
I I think they I don't know. They definitely they have had a revamped secondary. I still feel like any team is better than the football team, so I'm gonna go with Philly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Philadelphia here too. I'm gonna go Philadelphia here too because when I look at what the Eagles did last year, they won the NFC East when they should not have won the NFC East, and
Hey, we'll take it though.
yeah, we'll take it. But Philadelphia, Carson Wentz, this is week one. He's usually not all that healthy, but it's week one. He's gonna play and finish this first game, and I think the Eagles will come out with this one. I mean, if they don't, I will be extremely disappointed. But because I don't anticipate the Washington football team having a great year this year with Dwayne Haskins Jr. Not saying he's a terrible quarterback, but he obviously didn't have the big leaps that Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson and those guy type of quarterbacks have had. So I mean, hopefully his sophomore year is really a more productive one. But yeah, I got Philadelphia in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne Haskins didn't really have a terrible year because he did beat the Lions last year. But next game.
Yeah, okay. Speaking of new identities, the Las Vegas Raiders and the Carolina Panthers. Las Vegas.
Hmm. This one's almost interesting. I
Dang.
I ooh, this is tough because I like the Raiders. I like their team, but then we see Teddy Bridgewater in a Carolina Panthers uniform. So, I mean, this is again pretty tough. I like what the Raiders did in the draft as well because Raiders drafts are very surprising. They don't usually pick the best available.
Hmm.
Um I I I think I think the Las Vegas Raiders are going to go with an upset and pull off a win against Carolina today.
Man, that's a interesting pick. For the silver and black. That's a very interesting pick. I mean, I like Derek Carr. At quarterback. I mean, I remember he had that one good year, and then they almost had home field advantage, and then ended up
Got
losing to
hurt,
Houston
yeah.
in the wild card round. That was very disappointing. But and they haven't really gotten back to that form, especially after
Mm-mm.
they traded Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Um, Dude, I'm sorry, but I don't see the Raiders doing anything in this game. Teddy Bridgewater, like you said, the Teddy Bear, CMC, Christian McCaffrey. I think that duo is enough. Panthers. I'm going Panthers.
Okay, yeah, I don't blame you. I had to go bold on that one. I don't know. I had a feeling that Vegas might pull an upset today. Next.
Vegas. I got to get used to this crap, man.
It is. It's definitely odd. Football team Vegas. Yeah, it's weird.
It's so weird. Okay, whatever. Next game. Colts, Jaguars.
Um, Colts off rip because we saw what Jacksonville has done with their team in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Literally get rid of every decent player they have. But we also are going to see Philip Rivers in a Colts uniform, which again is very, very weird.
Ugh. I don't think I didn't think I'd ever see the light of day where I see him
Yeah,
in Indy.
I didn't either. And honestly, I feel like people forget about that he signed in Indianapolis. I did. I know I did. I mean, I remember when he did sign originally, but then as time went on, I just forgot he still played. Um,
Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. Although I do think he's going to pull out this victory against Jacksonville. I mean, the Jaguars, since that, I mean, they're basically in tank mode right now. Um,
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree.
I mean, I feel bad for Gardner Minshew though, because I mean, and Leonard Fournette, he basically roasted every single quarterback he has ever had before Tom Brady.
Yeah, he he said I finally I'm playing with a real quarterback. Wow.
Man, that
Gardner wasn't bad last year. I was surprised. He was fun to watch.
yeah, he was really fun to watch. Minshew Mania, the mustache, that the man's was more iconic than you, Leonard.
That's actually true. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that statement.
Yeah, I want to see the next time the Jaguars play the Buccaneers. I want to see Minshew throw for 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns on Leonard Fournette's head. I want to see that. I want to see the smoke, and that better be a prime time game.
Yeah, I would love to see it too. I think that would be funny.
Yeah, I'll be absolutely in tears if I see that happening. But unfortunately, Minshew Mania not. I don't think that's going to happen against Indianapolis. I got the Colts.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, Browns Ravens. I got Ravens. Um, I mean the Ravens. They basically have the same team as last year, and the Browns. Well, you can say the same thing. And last year, the Browns all this hype just to not even make the playoffs.
Yeah, I've always been a believer in the Browns since their revamped roster. I really like what they've done in Cleveland, but I've also liked what Baltimore has done. Um, I like Baltimore. That I think they're gonna win. I mean we saw what happened in opening week last year against the Dolphins. You know
Mm.
that I literally I think Lamar Jackson won the MVP week 1 because I was so shocked on how well he was playing. How many didn't he have like 5 touchdowns?
I thought it was a big blowout, like 50 something. I forgot. I got to look up the score again. It was a
Yeah,
blowout.
last year he was fantastic. Last year is the MVP. I feel like this. I actually I think foreshadowing a Super Bowl pick, I think they could go all the way this year. So I'm gonna take
Hmm.
Baltimore.
Oh wow. Okay. I'll clip that because I said that previously, but I'll clip this. I'll clip this just in case, in case I'm salty. But um, we got another AFC matchup. Let's shift to the afternoon games now. Chargers Bengals. Joe Burrow's debut and Tyrod Taylor takes over LA. Not San Diego. LA.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think this is gonna be a trash game. Um, I both of these teams are lost their starting quarterback. Uh, both of these teams have, I wouldn't say a lot to prove, but they definitely have something due to the fact that new quarterbacks. I am excited. I am excited to see the Bengals this year. They did make a few changes to their roster. I mean, Joe Burrow. I mean, I want to see how he performs in the NFL because last year was obviously his breakout season, becoming one of the greatest, in my opinion, quarterbacks in college football history with all of the accolades he had last year. I don't know. I think the Bengals will take this one. For what reason? I
Hmm.
think it's going to be a shootout. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a good opening day. I don't know. I don't really see much from the Chargers. I mean, I do like Keenan Allen. I mean, Joey Bosa is good, but I like what the Bengals have done in the offseason.
You know what? I'm not mad at that, and I would love to see the Bengals succeed and pull off some upsets in the North or something like that. But that's the North. This is a team from the South. Not that region. Not that regions really determine who if you're good or not. But the Chargers still have Bosa. They still got Austin Eckler, who I think is going to be, a more key running back now that Melvin Gordon is gone.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, the wide receiver corp is still fairly decent down there in LA. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Chargers. Even though the loss of Derwin James is huge. That is a huge loss for that defense. I still think they can come out and beat the Bengals. So Chargers.
Hey, I'm not mad at it. I had definitely another bold pick. As you mentioned, I think Asa Eckler, he had a fantastic year last year because I remember when they played the Lions in like week 2, and he is very very underrated. One of the most underrated running backs for sure.
hmm Yeah, it'll be exciting to see him. Try to bounce back this year and try to make his name known in the NFL, like even more again. So
Yeah,
I can't wait for that. But here's when the predictions start to get juicy. Okay, Buccaneers Saints.
dude, I this is definitely going to be game of the day in my opinion. I mean, you'd think Tom Brady versus Drew Brees never seems to disappoint.
Mm-mm.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we've seen all that Tampa Bay has done the offseason. They have had some insane revamps to the roster, getting Gronk, getting Leonard Fournette, getting Tom Brady, all these different players surrounding him. I mean, they did lose one important piece of their roster in Jameis Winston, but uh, I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that they'd miss from Jameis Winston are the interceptions, but they also got LaShawn McCoy, which is a two-time 1,000-yard rusher. I just this is gonna be a good game. I mean, New Orleans really they didn't change very much. The Buccaneers did. I think I'm gonna go with New Orleans just for the primary fact that New Orleans hadn't changed much and Tampa Bay literally has an entirely different roster.
Yeah, I know the everything is so different down there in Tampa Bay. Not even just the roster. It's like the entire direction of the franchise. The ship just did a whole 180. I'm serious, bro.
Yeah.
Like this the new roster, the new additions, especially on the offensive end. It's crazy. And then the new uniforms too. But you know what? I'm actually gonna go with the upset here. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay. I'm
Okay.
I'm gonna be I know you're tired of hearing me say Tampa, 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 but um, well, not because of the Bucks, but because of
Yeah.
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 We'll get to that later though. But I got the Buccaneers, man. I think they're gonna find a way to pull this one out on offense. I think it will be like a 30-point, 40-point shootout, and I think the Bucks are gonna come out firing.
Yeah, I think it will be very exciting, but I just got a question because usually when teams have these crazy roster changes and are an entirely different team, they take a little bit to come together and play as a team, and I think that will be the case today. Hey, we've had some disagreements already. I'm liking the boldness of our picks.
Yeah, and they're reasonable too. And
Yeah.
it's really cool, man. It's really cool to have football back. This is awesome. But another juicy NFC matchup with a revamped roster versus a basically returning team. The Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers. Hmm.
Dude, I like San Francisco. I still question Kyler Murray as a quarterback for the Cardinals. I don't know. Um, I mean, he was all right last year. He did have a few surprising wins,
Mhm.
but man, I like San Francisco's roster. I liked them last year. I think they are going to play almost exactly how they did last year. I think they are going to have a fantastic year. With that being said, I have the 49ers.
Yeah, I agree, man. I love what Arizona has done to their roster. I love the addition of DeAndre Hopkins. I love the fact that he's going to be playing with Larry Fitzgerald. That's going to be, I mean, that's oh my gosh, that's going to be such a beautiful duo to watch. And then Kyler Murray, you know, I think he's going to have a step up in year two. Um, Arizona. I mean, I feel like they found their guy, their running back in Kenyon Drake, after moving on from David Johnson in that steal of a trade they had with Houston. But Arizona, I still think San Francisco is light, a kind of was still way ahead of Arizona.
Yeah,
So I'm going to take the 49ers on this one, reigning NFC champs.
yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, dude. Okay, probably my most unpredictable matchup today. Cowboys Rams.
Of course, the Cowboys get Sunday Night Football.
Of
Of course.
course.
Um, yeah, America's team, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
uh, um, yeah, this is gonna be an interesting matchup. I sometimes like the Rams are almost similar to the Vikings in my eyes.
Oh.
They sometimes they play fantastic. Other times they play really bad. They are very inconsistent. Jared Goff, inconsistent. Dude, I think honestly the Cowboys have a better roster. I mean, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Brandon Cooks.
Hmm.
Dude, I really I I wouldn't. I mean, Jalen Ramsey as a corner for the Rams against that good wide receiver core. Dude, I don't know. I think Dallas will pull this one out due to the fact that they have a slightly better offense in my eyes. I
Hmm.
don't like Dallas whatsoever, but again, the inconsistency of the Rams really concerns me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, both teams are very inconsistent, but you
Yeah.
know, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, this game is so tough to pick. But you know what? I'm gonna have to go with Dallas because look, that wide receiver court with with Gallup and I think CD Lamb is going to be a very explosive wide receiver. He's at least going
Yeah.
to draw some attention, if not
Yeah.
get 100 yards receiving plus. Um, so I'm going to go with Dallas on this one. Plus, you got Dak and Zeke back in action. Okay, yeah, now you're
Yeah.
talking, and with no fans in LA. Uh, yeah, I got Dallas here. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although it's going to be such I mean the predictions are so close because on ESPN's like prediction matchup, Dallas
Hmm.
has a 51% chance to win. That is airtight.
Yeah. And it's hard to predict who's going to win in a kind of neutral environment with no fans, and it's week one. Some crazy things have happened on week one. This is a tough week to pick. I think as the weeks go by, we'll get a lot easier to see how bad a team is. I mean, we saw the Lions start off undefeated last year, and then we saw them absolutely plummet. So
Uh-huh.
anything can happen, especially with no fans.
Yeah, dude, but that's Sunday's games, man. Let's go Monday. Monday Night Football double headers are back, and we have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants. I don't see anything whatsoever from the New York Giants. I love Saquon Barkley, Penn State guy, but he's not. I don't see them doing too much against the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger back. So I got Pittsburgh here.
This why do the Giants get the
I don't
the
know,
first
man.
Monday night game, dude? That hurts. That hurts my eyes, dude. I don't want to. I mean, we saw how bad these respected like the Jets and the Giants were on like a primetime football last year, and it wasn't fun to watch. I mean, we even saw the Bengals go on like Monday night football.
Oh,
It is so hard to watch. I don't like these bad teams playing these primetime games. I mean, it's stupid. I 100% agree with your prediction. I got the Steelers as well. I just don't really see much from the Giants. I don't. I mean, other than Saquon, uh,
Saquon
it's
better
gonna
go
be
for 300 yards rushing if they have a chance to win.
yeah. That's about it. I mean, they did revamp on defense, as I've said for most teams, but their offense really I I mean, I like Golden Tate, but again, I don't see anything on offense for the Giants. I have the Steelers.
Yeah, dude. And to answer your question, it's the market. It's got to be the market. It's got to be that New York market for the reason why we get so many Giants Jets primetime games. Same thing with the Knicks when they did the same thing. All these freaking primetime games when the team is trash. It's the market.
Yeah.
It's got to be the market.
Yeah, it's like the Knicks always play on Christmas.
It's stupid, bro. It's just like what the. Now it's not the same thing as Thanksgiving in Detroit and Dallas, and
Yeah, those are
that's
traditions.
traditions. New York,
Yeah.
New York primetime games on these certain days. That's not tradition. That is not
Let's
tradition.
stop that tradition.
That is not a tradition. Okay, last game of week one, and then we're gonna predict the Thursday nighter for next week. Titans Broncos. Oh boy,
I like this game.
I like it. Although I'm gonna go with Tennessee because the loss of Von Miller.
Yeah. I'm gonna say the exact same thing. That loss of Von Miller is going to be key, especially when you have a talented offense that Tennessee does. I mean, we saw them last year in the playoffs, and I can't even forget about Jadeveon Clowney, who signed with Tennessee as well. That is going to be huge. They just have a massive roster. I mean, you got Jadeveon Clowney and Derrick Henry.
Man,
Like, yeah, this team is going to be good. I think they have a chance to go to the playoffs and compete again. I like Mike Verbal. I don't know. I think that Von Miller loss is going to be key. I mean, we'll see Drew Lock um as quarterback. I mean, we saw him a little bit last year and he wasn't bad. Um but dude, I just see I see Tennessee having another great year.
yeah, I like Tennessee. This is a legitimate playoff contender right here. This is legit. This is a legit team here in Tennessee. So obviously keep an eye out, especially with the return of Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill got paid. He got something to prove. It should be exciting to watch the Titans this year.
I agree.
Okay, last game that we're picking. The Thursday night game for week two, Bengals Browns. Um
Oh my gosh,
uh,
that's oh
uh,
on a Thursday, that's crazy. See, like I said, the Bengals get a lot of primetime games.
the only primetime games the Cincinnati Bengals get is those early season Thursday night football games. That's it.
I I don't and the Bengals Browns on primetime. That is gross. Um, dude, I like this matchup though. I feel like it will be very competitive, but I think I'm gonna go with the Browns just for their primarily their success over the Bengals in the past few years. I do like when when the Bengals play the Browns actually come out of their sorts and like play as a team. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, I like Odell. I like Baker Mayfield. I think it's gonna be a shootout in my opinion. Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield. I like that. I think I'm gonna go with Cleveland though. Just I feel like they do have a better team.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Cleveland too for that exact same reason. Although I think this will be more of a defensive slugfest, maybe like a 14 to 10ish type game. Um,
Yeah,
but I mean, I think Burrow's gonna have a few rough games because well, it's your rookie year, man. I mean,
yeah,
this you're gonna start your season off. You got their Thursday nighter against the Browns, and then you got the Chargers coming to town. You got to evade Bosa and Miles Garrett and stuff. Yeah, that I mean, it's gonna be tough, but I got the Cleveland Browns in that Week 2 Thursday night game.
yeah. I 100% agree.
Whew, wow, man, we just went through the whole slate. That. That's the first time I really ever did this.
So, yeah, me too. Yeah, definitely me too. That was fun though. It's stressful almost. Like that is difficult. That was very difficult.
Yeah, dude.
Like
It was
that's
hard.
definitely the hardest sport to predict.
Oh yeah, football slates. Oh, it's very tough to pick. But dude, let's move on to the NBA because we have the conference final set, or do we? Because the Clippers and the Nuggets are still going.
Yeah, I just want to say I I think I would have rather seen the Thunder play the Lakers. I mean,
Big fact.
those last 3 games were dreadful. I hadn't seen a team play that bad on defense. Literally, I like the Rockets looked like they just gave up and they're like, yeah, let's go home. There's no chance. Like that was awful. I don't think anyone wanted to see that from the Rockets. I mean they're known for their offense, but I
Uh,
was just so disappointed in them. Like their defense, god awful, dude. That was terrible,
it was bad.
terrible performance by the Rockets. I mean, yeah, they were good in game one. Rest of the series, complete garbage.
Dude, I'm so mad at the Houston Rockets, and they just gave me another reason to dislike them. And I typically like the Houston Rockets because I like the franchise's identity. I love the uniforms, the red and the white ones, not necessarily the black ones, but I love I used to really love the Houston Rockets, but they really just stiff armed me in the nose this postseason, stopping me from a perfect bracket. Sending my Thunder home. You know what I'm saying? Supposed to be 13th in the West. They got the fifth. Took you guys to 7 games. Should have won that game 7. You know what I'm saying, dude? And then you come out against the Lakers. That was supposed to be a good, at least a decent matchup. That should have been. It should have at least went 6, dude. But no, no. You know Houston in the postseason nowadays. They just don't show up against top 2 seeds.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because it seemed like they competed better against the Warriors than the Lakers, honestly.
That's crazy to say, man. Because it's just
It is.
like that. You the one postseason you don't have Golden State in your way, and you didn't even come close to getting over the hump.
Yeah, that was just awful to watch. Awful performance. But the Nuggets and Clippers, I mean, do the Nuggets play better when they're down 3-1? I think so.
I think so too. I mean, I guess it takes them 4 games to really, figure out what they're playing against because, I mean, it was very similar to what they did against the Jazz. The Clippers were up 16 at some point, and then they blew the lead. Mm, Maybe
Yeah.
this could be a repeat.
I there's one part of me that hopes they do because I do like the Nuggets. But I also I feel bad for the Clippers
Yeah,
because we saw on I think it was game was it game yeah it was game 4, and they pulled up a graphic during the game that said that the Clippers had never made it past the second round, and I feel like this year is finally their chance to compete for a title, get to that championship game, and I feel like there will be no better year than
this
this year
year.
to do it for them. I just I mean I like both teams. I think it'd be crazy if the Nuggets were able to come back from 3-1 again. That would just be insane, dude. It's gonna be close. I mean, whoever wins, I'm fine with, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I'm fine with it too. Although I'm obviously rooting for the Nuggets because that's my championship pick, and you're rooting for the Clippers because that's your Western Conference pick at the very least. But dude, this I, I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna have my eyes on this game, bro. I think I'm going to be switching back and forth between the football game and this game. I think I'm gonna watch the Clippers Nuggets more because this is big. This is like really really big, bro. If Denver wins this game, I think there's gonna be some fear struck into the Clippers fan base.
Last year, who did the Nuggets lose to in the playoffs last year?
The Trailblazers.
Yeah, I feel like that was on a Sunday as well.
Yes,
I'm
that the
pretty
game
sure it was
seven
on a
was on a
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, it was on a
Yeah.
Sunday at around the same time it is today. That could either
Ugh.
be that could be bad for the Nuggets, dude. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to watch the game. I mean, I dude, it's gonna be close. That's all I'm gonna say. I really don't know who's gonna win.
I don't know. Have the Nuggets cracked the code? Because the Clippers were claiming that they were undisciplined in Game 5 and stuff like that, and I'm like, undisciplined? You guys were up 16. What more discipline do you need?
Dude, yeah, and then Kawhi is actually starting to heat up, which is a scary sign, dude. I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, and it's very tough because that was one of those games that the Clippers should have won. I mean, Kawhi dropped
Yeah,
36. Jamal Murray was 9 for 25 on field goals. Michael Porter Jr. had one made field goal the entire game, and you still lost to the Nuggets. That
but he
scares me.
did clamp up.
He did clamp up.
MPJ did clamp up towards the end. Got that block, got the steal, got the rebounds. Yeah, that I mean, after talking trash to his team, did you see that?
Oh my god, dude! I was like, oh no, Michael Porter Jr. is gonna send the Nuggets home with those words alone. But no, he came out, and at the end of the day, he sent his team to a game 6.
Yeah, he proved why he could talk trash to his team. He said something along the lines of, "Yeah, we need some players that need to step up." Imagine a rookie saying that to
Oh
you.
my
Um,
gosh, dude! It's gonna be like, who do you think you are, buddy? Oh
I
man,
mean, yeah, I he has to play well. Jamal Murray obviously has to play well if they are expecting to beat the Clippers.
Yeah, but let's say the Clippers do find a way to pull this out. Do they have a chance against the Lakers?
I think they do. I think they're a better team than the Lakers, in my opinion.
Okay. How about the Nuggets if they pull this out? Will your perception change about
Uh,
the Lakers going to the finals?
the Lakers will go to the finals.
Okay. So
Yeah,
it's really depending on opponent.
yeah,
If it's an all LA Western Conference final, then the Clippers are coming out. But if it's Lakers Nuggets, you got Lakers.
yes, definitely.
Fair, definitely fair. How about Heat Celtics, the series that you apparently did not want to
Oh my
see?
gosh, this is just again pretty gross. I mean, we saw it in the NHL playoffs this year. The
Massachusetts versus
the
Florida.
yeah the Florida Massachusetts series, dude. I don't like it. I think to the the Raptors almost pulled that one out against the Celtics.
Oh
And
no.
I saw some people saying that if the Celtics would have lost that, that would have been my some people were saying that might have been the most painful loss in Celtics history. And I don't blame them
Oh yeah.
because that was a series that they should have won and they were playing very well and they, they allowed the Raptors to get it to game 7. I think the Heat are definitely a better team and I think they've only lost one time in the playoffs.
Once.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think the Heat are definitely a better team. I think they are going. I think they're going to win this series. Honestly, I think they're going to win it.
Yeah, and like I said a few episodes ago, I had a rival number, which is 5, which is half of 10. But this 5 seed right here, I like this 5 seed. This Miami team does not play like a 5 seed. They're playing like a 2 seed or a 3 seed that, has really big final, implications plastered all over them. And looking at how the Celtics barely escaped Toronto last round, I think they're running into a buzz saw in the Miami Heat. So I'm gonna take the Miami Heat here because Kemba Walker has been absolutely garbage the last few games. I mean, absolute garbage. I did not ever think I was gonna say that, but he has been absolute garbage. I mean, we've never seen him, this far into the playoffs, but he he hasn't been cardiac Kemba as of late. It's been so disturbing to watch. I mean, it's bad. I'm sorry if I feel like if it sounds like I'm roasting Kemba Walker, but it's just like I expect more from this dude. I love Kemba Walker. I like to see him win, but dude, come on, man, you can't be shooting freaking 2 for 11, only shooting 9 field goals a game. Come on, dude, you're Kemba
Yeah,
Walker.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting. I just feel like the Heat have a lot more weapons.
Yeah, and I don't see the Celtics answering Bam Adebayo. Not with Daniel Tice. No.
Yeah, and I actually saw something pretty crazy. This is one of the first times that there will not be a 1 or 2 seed, and this is at this point in time, there this is the first time that a 1 and 2 seed are like not
Aren't.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, at
that
least
isn't that crazy?
yeah, it's crazy. That goes to show you how wide open the East is, man.
Yeah, and how notoriously dominant 1 and 2 seeds are.
Yeah, like notoriously. Very. Although the second seed wasn't that notorious. I mean, we didn't expect the Raptors to get back to the 2 seed after losing Kawhi, so
Yeah,
that's actually an improvement. But the Bucks, they're a whole different story right there.
yeah, that was just bad.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. But speaking of unexpected, let's turn to the NHL, man. Okay,
Do we
Dallas has
have
another
to?
3-1
Do
lead.
we have to, man? Do we have to? This is
Yes,
not.
dude.
This has not been good for me, honestly.
No?
Dude, the Stars have had some. They've just have had some crazy like finishes. Like it has been close, and then they managed to pull it out in
Uh,
overtime. Both 1 score games, but hey, at least the Islanders they won, so that's good.
yeah, at least they're back in the series. But
Yeah, I heard a good point. The the Stars may not be the better team, but they play as a team a lot better than the Golden Knights do.
mm, wow, dude.
Yeah.
Um, like you said, man. This, you didn't see a split. You saw one of us sweeping the other. And I didn't feel like it was going to be me because of this series. I thought it was going to be the other way around, the way, Dallas and Vegas were playing each other the last four games. But Anton Kudobin, this dude has been going crazy. Did you see
Yeah.
how he just absolutely read those power plays like a book? Vegas had a 5-on-3, and then they had a near 3-minute power play, and they couldn't
Yeah.
cash in.
I mean, that's really been the story of the Golden Knights this entire playoffs. They haven't been able to capitalize.
And I called it too, man. I said I was skeptical about that offense. It needs to wake up these last three games because this is not looking pretty for Vegas. It really isn't.
It's not, and like I said this a lot earlier in the playoffs, but I feel like the Stars are the St. Louis Blues of 2020. Honestly,
That's a really good comparison. I can definitely see that. But I'm in the driver's seat. So I'll keep an eye out for that. But we have another crucial game for today. Tampa Bay and New York. The Islanders really got back into that series, and it was chippy, wasn't it?
dude, yeah, I it was so funny because I'd never seen a goal scorer get into a fight right after he scores the goal. I've never seen that before. Immediately after the puck went in, he just started swinging with the Lightning player. I think it was Kucherov. But oh my gosh, I was just I was surprised. I feel like that is the main reason that the Islanders were able to keep the momentum throughout the game with all these fights and stuff. They were just hyped up the entire game, and I think that really helped them uh succeed in their win.
Yeah, and that was the New York Islanders team that you were used to seeing throughout the playoffs. I was sitting here wondering to myself the first two games, this team doesn't look like the Islanders team that I picked to beat the Flyers and that you picked to beat the Capitals. This didn't look like the same team. Game one was just an absolute catastrophe. Let's get that straight. Let's get that out the
Yeah.
way. I'm not gonna let you go through that torture. That was an absolute catastrophe of game one. But game two, I don't know which loss was worse. Getting absolutely blown out 8-2, or being in the driver's seat 1-0, then allowing them to tie the game and then losing on an even strength last second goal.
That was a heartbreaker, dude. I remember we were texting each other during the game, and then right when I was like, you said no overtime.
I said no overtime.
And the Lightning scored, dude. I turned it off immediately. I was like, I'm not watching this. Turn that off, please. No, I was sick. I was like, come on, that I'm heated.
Oh man, it was such a classic finish for me because I had never seen anything like it. And you showed me a highlight where the Capitals did it against the Rangers, but that was the year before I got into the NHL like that. So
2015, yeah.
yeah,
A,
but
a buzzer beating goal is so rare in hockey, and it hurts because like there's no chance. Like in basketball, if you get a like a go ahead shot with like point 0.1 left, you have a slim chance of being able to get that basket back and potentially tie or win the game. But in hockey, you start off at center ice, and there's virtually no way you're going to be able to
score a
score a goal
goal
with. Yeah,
in
so
point
those
one.
hurt so much.
Yeah, dude, I can tell that hurt. Like when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh my goodness, Von Gracious, Tampa is up 2-0 on this."
Yeah, because in hockey you don't expect that to happen. In basketball, like you have a massive bucket that you're trying to score in. You in hockey you have this goalie who's usually able to stop the puck from going in with like a second left. So like that's just so unexpected, and that's why it probably hurts so much.
Yeah, that was bad, dude. That was
Yeah.
bad. But I'm gonna bring you to a happy place. College football. We saw some things last night, didn't we? A lot.
Yeah, it was actually pretty exciting, surprisingly, in my opinion. I mean, we saw our first upset. How'd you feel about that one?
Um, I question why some of these teams are ranked. Um, I mean, yeah, Iowa State has a habit of pulling upsets from here and there, but when they are the better team, they have a habit of being upset as well. But Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. First
Yeah,
of all, how about the Sun Belt Conference yesterday, man? What a day for
yeah,
the Sun Belt. I want to get that out the way.
yeah. They definitely they surprised me.
Yeah, and the Big 12 didn't really have a good day. Oklahoma was the only real team that, that I mean, Oklahoma and West Virginia, I should say, are the teams that won for the Big 12, and Texas Tech and Texas. I think I need to take that statement back. But seriously though, I'm looking at some of these Big 12 games. I'm looking at how Coastal Carolina absolutely put the whooping on Kansas. Don't let the score fool you. Don't let the two
to,
score game fool you. That was a
to
butt
I
whooping.
I was watching though. Kansas did come back in the third quarter. It was definitely it was yes, they did get blown out, but I think it was closer than it may have seemed,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah, I don't blame you, man. I mean, Kansas was coming back. When I saw the score was closer and closer, I was like, Coastal Carolina, you were up 28. What's going on? And, eh.
Coastal Carolina has an underrated sport or athletic program. I mean, they won the college baseball World Series the other year, and
Yeah.
now they look to have a really good football team from what the announcers were saying and how their quarterback is really good, and I mean he proved it. I don't know, maybe we'll see them ranked. Maybe
Oh,
that would be
boy.
crazy. Coastal Carolina ranked in football. That'd be insane.
That's going to be crazy. And you know what? I'm going to be very interested to see how the rankings go. Um, because obviously with no Big 10 or Pac-12 right now, you would think that some new teams will move into the top 25 and stuff like that,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. I think that would be interesting to see a team like Coastal Carolina move in the top 25.
Yeah, definitely. But we got a couple of ACC teams that, got off to some good starts. North Carolina pulled away from Syracuse, Notre Dame introduction to the ACC allowed me to reintroduce our program. You know what I'm
That
saying?
was a good game.
Yeah.
That Duke Notre Dame game. It was pretty close. It was a very close game, honestly. I mean, Notre Dame won 27-13, but it was close throughout the game. Definitely, I think the best game of the afternoon.
Yeah, definitely closer than Clemson Wake Forest. I'll say that. But um, I think the most eye popping game of the day to me was Georgia Tech Florida State.
Yeah, I was watching that a little bit too. Yeah, what were your thoughts?
Florida State has plummeted as a program. I am not used to seeing this type of bad football from such a prestigious football program. They've lost their last four season openers, and now it's just looking like an absolute catastrophe. Basically, Florida, it's like Florida State has become the Michigan of the ACC. Because
Wow.
I'm seeing all the shots of the fans all the Seminole fans looking so upset and so depressed. I'm just like, is this Michigan or is this Florida
Yeah.
State?
They just really aren't good. They really haven't had anything to play for since Jameis Winston, honestly.
Honestly, it's sad, bro. And it's just like this program used to be so prestigious. We're talking like championship contention. Like we're talking like when they had Dalvin Cook and they were fighting Clemson for ACC supremacy, and it's just like it feels like light years ago.
Yeah. That the good old Oregon Florida State
Yeah,
rivalry was so fun to watch, honestly. Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, now both of them are not even starting in the NFL. That's kind of sad.
yeah, that's sad, dude. That yeah, it's bad. It's bad, bro. But speaking of bad, we picked three college games last week. We won two of them, and the one we lost was probably, at least for me, my worst prediction of all time. BYU and Navy.
Yeah. I told you this. I don't know why we picked Navy, honestly. Now looking back on it, I that was disappointing. 55-3. Yikes.
And we
That
didn't.
there's yeah,
We
there's no other
sure
words.
we sure didn't even know what we were getting ourselves into. I thought I'm sitting here thinking that the option offense is going to really help Navy out, but little did I forget, I didn't even remember that the option takes a while to master. when when you're Navy or Army or a team that really feeds off the option play. And, that takes practice and stuff more so than the offense like BYU runs. But the fact that BYU's offensive line and their defensive line, the line of scrimmage, the Cougars were pouncing on the midshipmen. Like, it was crazy. I'm looking at the holes that the BYU team is making on the offensive line. I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's not a gap. That's a Grand Canyon that offensive line is making. It was,
Yeah,
it wasn't even close.
yeah, yeah. It was just a bad performance.
Yeah, dude, it was bad, and we're gonna try to make amends for those picks for that pick because that pick was terrible. I got three games that I want us to predict, including next week's Saturday night football game, Miami at Louisville.
That is that's an interesting game, honestly. I feel like both teams are on the come up, honestly. Uh I like Louisville. I like Louisville a lot. I don't really know much about either team.
I don't either.
I just think Louisville is going to pull this one out somehow, some way. We'll see.
Oh boy, that sounds very similar to your Navy pick. Oh boy, because we don't. I mean, we don't know much about these teams. Let's be honest, dude. Because this season is so weird. We don't really know much about these guys and who's on the team and stuff like that. Like I know Miami's quarterback De'Aaron King, but before that, I didn't really see him as you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead, put my name in a hat, and pick up the Cardinals. I'm gonna go with Louisville on this one too.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, dude. Okay, we have this matchup became more interesting. Number 21 UCF and Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech.
UCF is
Yes.
my pick.
Oh,
Final
oh,
pick.
really?
Final decision. Dude, I've always liked UCF, being born in Orlando, Central Florida, University of Central Florida. I always I just loved how they went 0 and however many. They didn't win a game that one year, and then the next year they're back in one of the best teams in college football. Arguably the national champion.
Ah,
They didn't
I
lose a
remember
game.
that.
Dude, they went from no wins to no losses. That I just I was and they almost beat LSU. They
Almost.
almost beat LSU 2 years ago. Dude, I like UCF. Last year they did struggle a bit. They lost a few games. But I think this year will be another good year for UCF. I like UCF. I Georgia Tech is not bad either. I think this might be the best game of week 3. I think I'm gonna go with UCF.
Interesting.
Obviously, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I respect Georgia Tech, and if there were fans, I'm telling you, man, with college football, with no fans in the stands, some of these picks get much, much tougher, much
Yeah,
tougher.
I agree.
But because there are no fans in the stands, and because, well, I mean, Georgia Tech's offense didn't really get it going like you would expect to. But it is Florida State after all. But I just didn't see too much from their offense. I'm gonna go UCF. I think UCF's defense is gonna, stifle Georgia Tech.
Hey, I like the pick.
Yeah, dude. And I was gonna pick BYU and Army, but that game got postponed because of COVID.
Dude, I think BYU would have won.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're just good against Army and Navy.
yeah, but I mean BYU, the way they have been playing, they might BYU might be a new acronym for the new military group or something.
Dude, yeah, yeah. I mean, speaking of football, we saw some football scores in the MLB.
Oh
That
yeah,
was kind of crazy last week.
yeah. I see there were a lot of blowouts.
I wouldn't even consider them blowouts, dude. Like this was just a rout. Like this was just terrible. I mean, on September 1st, we saw the Giants beat the Rockies 23-5.
Oh my gosh, that's a reasonable football score. Field goal and
See that?
safety.
Yeah, a field goal of safety. And then on September 9th, we saw two crazy blowouts. The Brewers beat the Tigers 19-0. And the Braves beat the Marlins 29-9.
Oh my gosh, one short of the modern record, huh?
Yeah, and hey, we mentioned the modern record earlier this year. I said that the Rangers in the Orioles when the Rangers beat them by 30, and the Rangers were mad at Fernando Tatis for you
Yeah.
know running up the score, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, yeah, we've seen some crazy blowouts, and I mean, who knows? Maybe juice balls are back.
Yeah, maybe. This is crazy. This is some interesting stuff right here. I didn't think it was like that, but here we are.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, this is I'm gonna um denounce the Tigers. They are not going to make the playoffs. I don't want to see this team in the playoffs.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
they were close. They were a one game out, but they have been getting blown out left and right. Like last night they lost 14 to nothing. All
I
right.
saw that. Oh,
Thursday they lost 12 to 2.
yeah. They.
Wednesday they lost 19 to nothing.
Oh, you're still going. Oh my goodness.
Dude, I'm still going. This is just and yeah, it that's basically the past week after they've gotten close to, getting a playoff spot. It has looked very bad, and I don't want to see this team play. I mean, yeah, the playoff talks were fun while it lasted, but hey, maybe your Mariners will be able to get in.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. They do have the same record. So, yeah, holding out hope.
Yeah,
Oh my
good luck,
goodness.
man.
Yeah, they'll need it. But um, this is some crazy stuff. I can't wait for the playoffs, man. I really do want to see how these playoffs work because they're talking about a bubble after the first round, aren't they?
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier in episode how whatever it was, but yeah, we did mention that, and I think it got approved yesterday, didn't it?
Um, it says that they're waiting the union to approve of it, but
Okay,
um,
so we were way ahead of it.
oh
We've been
yeah,
talking about this for weeks. We were ahead of it. Come on, um, yeah, I think that would be interesting. I mean, the World Series in the Rangers' new ballpark. American League playing in Southern California and the National League playing in Texas. I'm not really mad at it. I feel like like we mentioned earlier, it could be better. But I mean, if you're playing in a bubble, that's probably the safest bet for the MLB.
you know what? I think I would love to see the MLB experiment the neutral site World Series.
That that would be interesting. Yeah. Hmm.
Like neutral site meaning with fans in the stands, like in normal circumstances. I would be so intrigued by that.
Yeah. See that is difficult because before they changed it, the All Star game, whoever won the All Star game got home field advantage in the World Series. So I feel like MLB is kind of different in some ways to other sports where that uh their entire season revolves around getting that home field advantage in the World Series. Like, um, how like I mentioned, like whoever won in the All Star game would be getting home field advantage. So I feel like a lot of things would have to change for that to happen, but it'd definitely be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it will happen. I'm not saying that it
Yeah,
should
yeah,
happen, but I would just be very interested to see, not even just the MLB, but other leagues like the NHL and the NBA experiment with neutral site championship series like the NFL does with the Super Bowl. I would be very intrigued by it. I would wonder how that would like work out.
yeah. I think that'd be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I guess I can only dream about it because I mean that's tradition. That is tradition. I don't think I want to mess with tradition. Yeah, dude. But I did ask well what you dub a pretty difficult trivia question last week.
Yeah, you did. Tell us that again.
Okay, so last week I asked how many times have the two teams selected to play in the NFL kickoff game go on to play each other in the playoffs in the same season?
Dude, that's just difficult, honestly. That's just, I have no clue. I mean, I heard some. I don't know. I just have no idea, honestly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you want the answer? Because there's There's some pretty interesting answers here.
Yeah, let us know.
Okay, so obviously the NFL kickoff game originated in 2002, and the first answer, it happened three times. It happened three times where the two teams selected in the playoff in the kickoff game went on to play each other in the playoffs. The first instance happened, well, in the very first kickoff game with the San Francisco 49ers and the New York Giants. They met in the 2002 kickoff game and then went on to meet each other in the wild card round. You might not remember when the San Francisco 49ers pulled off that crazy comeback in the wild card game. You remember that? You remember that, Drew?
I think I do. Yeah, I do remember that. That
So
was yeah. That
yeah,
was a crazy game.
it was the game where the 49ers were down 38-14 in the middle of the third quarter, and they came back to win by 1 point on that crazy botched field goal by the Giants.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy.
Yeah, and then the second time it happened was when the Colts and the Patriots met in the 2004 NFL kickoff game, and then went on to meet each other in the AFC divisional round.
Hmm. Okay, so it's Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
Yep, Tom
Yeah,
Brady,
so
Peyton Manning.
I'm not surprised about that.
Yeah, and a little bonus right there. They met in the AFC Championship game the previous year. Then they met each other in the kickoff game. Then they met each other in the postseason again. So that cemented their legacy as a rivalry right there.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting. The trivia question had a lot of background to it. I like it.
Yeah, and the third and final time that this happened, where the two teams played in the kickoff game and met in the postseason, was in 2014 when the Packers and the Seahawks did it. The Packers and the Seahawks, played in the 2014 NFL kickoff game, and then they met in that very memorable NFC
Yeah,
Championship game
fake punt,
overtime.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, Seattle should have repeated that year.
yeah. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, dude, but this happened three times where the two teams selected to play in the kickoff game met each other in the postseason. I hope there's a fourth because I would love to see Watson and Mahomes again.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I would too. I think that would be a fantastic game, honestly.
Yeah, dude, but I guess it's your turn, huh?
Yeah. So this one, it 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 has a little bit to it. This one's interesting. So this year, the Browns tied the Buffalo Bills for the most seasons between playoff berths. All right. So with the Browns not making the playoffs, it was 17 years. All right. So what team before the Buffalo Bills have had the longest streak with no playoff appearances? This one's interesting.
Okay.
And
That's
I'm going to give the number, but I will not give the team. 20 years. 20 years. So this team, this might be a little bit too many hints, but so this team had the longest streak from 1966 to 1986.
okay.
What
This is a
team?
long time ago.
Yeah, what team ended that 20-year playoff drought in 1986?
Okay, this is not modern.
Yeah, and it was the longest streak before the Buffalo Bills when they had 17 years between playoff appearances.
Oh my goodness, that's a good piece of history right there.
Yeah, it should be. I tried to do somewhat an easier question. This one may be a little bit difficult, but it's interesting because it's not a team you would expect. Another hint, hint.
Okay, that might knock out one potential candidate. Okay, I will definitely be thinking about this, Drew. Great question. I will be looking forward to that answer. But
Thanks, thanks, man.
we've obviously once again this has become the tradition of top of the standings. We talk about a lot.
Yeah, I think we almost had like 45 minutes of NFL, and I'm fine with that. Opening week, opening kickoff. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it at all. I mean, this is what we wanted, right? This is the month. Usually I say October is the king of sports, but this year with all the sports going on, all the different sports happening, all the stuff that's popping, including the WNBA regular season ending today. So
Yeah.
playoffs are coming. You just have playoff games left and right everywhere. Front, upward, forward, backward. It's everywhere.
Upside down, left, right,
Upside
up.
down, inside out, everywhere. I mean, everywhere. You see a playoff game.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to these next couple weeks.
Yeah, it'll be awesome, man. But same time next week.
Yes, sir. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or any other streaming device. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias at Top of the Standings on Twitter and at Top of the Standings on Instagram and Facebook. This has been Top of the Standings. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.